أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمين يا رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope all of you are doing great. Now we are going to start Ism Majroor in this sixth lesson of the catch-up series. And as I mentioned in the fifth part of this catch-up series, that Marfu or Mansoob or Majroor, they're just the fancy words for Ism or Asma that are in Rafa, Nasab or Jar form. Alright, so now we are going to study two reasons for an Ism to be in Jar form. Alright, so let's begin. We can see that there are two reasons for that, and first of all, it could be jar because it is following a preposition or because it is a mudaf ilayh. Alright, so we are very briefly going to discuss these two situations. Alright, and let's begin our discussion. Alright, so an ism in majroor or rafa in jar form due to the fact that it is following a preposition. What are prepositions? They are words such as in, at, on, from, of, not of exactly, but that's a separate discussion, okay? So such prepositions, such words are called prepositions. Similarly, we have two words, about. Alright, all these words are called prepositions. What do? They form some sort of relationship between two asma, or between two nouns in English and between asma. Such words in Arabic are called haruf jar. They are jar. Remember how we said that there are three kinds of words, haruf, ism, and fail. So prepositions are the haruf jar. Okay, and together the haruf jar and the ism that follows it forms what we know as the jar majroor fragment. All right, so for an ism to be majroor, one of the two reasons is that it is following a majroor, it is following a harf jar. Okay, for example, min baitin. Min means from, and baitin is the majroor ism, okay, because of its tanween. All right, baitin. So min baitin. And what can we tell by just looking at this word baitin? First of all, that it is jar. And why is it jar? Because it is following a preposition, min. All right, and what else can we tell from it? We can tell that it is ism nakra. Why? Because in the lesson of tanween, we studied the 5 points regarding tanween and what things it can tell us. Okay, so apart from the Arab, it also tells us that an ism is nakra, and that's what we can see here. And it has been therefore translated as from a house, all right, and not from the house. Let's look at the next example. Fil kitabi. Fi means in, okay, and al-kitabi. Now, notice it doesn't have tanween over here. It's not fil kitabin, mazallah, okay? Why is that? So because al and the tanween cannot ever coexist. Cannot ever coexist. Okay, and this is once again something that we discussed in the lesson about tanween, which was the third lesson in this series. Okay, so as you can see, it is fil kitabi. The tanween has been replaced by a single haircut of this zir. Okay, so it's fil kitabi, and it can never ever be fil kitabin. Okay, it's a crime in Arabic to write an ism in tanween along with al. Okay, so whenever al comes in an ism, it chucks the tanween out. Okay, so fil kitabi, and since this al is the Arabic equivalent of the English article the, we translate it as in the book. Okay, fil kitabi, in the book. So this was our first reason for an ism to be in jar form, and this fragment is called jar majroor fragment. Okay, we are going to come across these in the future as well. Okay, this is not just the end. All right, the next reason for an ism to be in jar form is it being a mudaf ilayh. Now this is a big word, all right, and we are going to touch on this subject again very soon, inshallah. Okay, but right now just focus on the things that I'm telling you. Okay, we are going to have a separate lesson for this topic, inshallah, along with the tips and tricks to remember which one is which, okay, and how to translate it, inshallah. Okay, so what is a mudaf ilayh? In simplest terms, we can say that it is some possessor of some other thing. Okay, so for example, we have the phrase Baitullahi. Okay, Bait means a house, and Allahi, the word Allahi. Now, yes, one thing in Arabic, in Arabic grammar, whenever we have the word Allah, okay, and we have to, we have to work out some grammatical rule, um, revolving around this word Allah. Then we say the word Allah, and we don't say Allah. All right, so we are going to say the word Allah here is in jar form. We're not going to say Allah is jar. Okay, we're not going to say that. We're going to say the word Allah is in jar form. Okay, so house of Allah. Now here the word Allah is mudaf ilayh. Why? Because it is a possessor. Possessor of what? A house. Okay, house of Allah. Okay, so, and as you can see that we have jar form. Okay, so we have this word Allah in jar form. It's not Baitullahu or Baitullaha, it's Baitullahi. Okay, house of Allah. Next example, Kitabul Waladi. Kitabu, a book. Al Waladi. Waladin is a boy, okay, or a son. So this son, okay. All right, so Kitabul Waladi. And since we have al here, we cannot write it as al waladin, of course. Okay, so it's Kitabul Waladi. Okay, the boy's book. Okay, so these are the two examples. Now, in both the situations, the word Allah and al waladi, they are jar, and since they are not following the harf jar, we can, but they are being preceded by different asma. Therefore, we call them mudaf ilayh. Okay, since there are only two reasons for an ism to be in jar form, therefore, if it's not the first one, then of course it's going to be the second one. Okay, that's how you can remember it. So Baitullahi, house of Allah, and the word Allah is jar and mudaf ilayh. Okay, and in Kitab al-Waladi, the boy's book, the word al-Waladi is mudaf ilayh, and because it is jar. Okay, and of course it has to be jar. So this was our second reason, being mudaf ilayh. That is the possessor. All right, this is the reason that a mudaf, that is the reason that that an ism can be in jar form. All right, and together this fragment is called mudaf ilayh. So mudaf is the ism that is being possessed, and mudaf ilayh is the possessor. Okay, so mudaf ilayh has to be in jar form, period. Okay, so this was our discussion about the two reasons for an ism to be in jar form, and I hope that is clear. Okay, the entire thing is clear. If there are any other questions, you can of course ask them. You can contact us, and inshallah I'll get back to them. Okay, so till the next lesson, which will be about the summarized 11 reasons and one basic reason for an ism to be in nasab form. I'm going to take your leave for now, and I'll meet you then. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al Hakim. Allah Hafiz.